I'm Bessie. I'm sitting in my studio, the fluorescent light humming steadily, casting a white glow over the room. The mannequin in the corner stands bare, tilted slightly to the left, just as it always has. On the cutting table lies a bolt of ivory charmeuse, cool under my palm. I'm looking at the invoice on my laptop screen, the number $18,400 staring back at me. It's a number that represents so much more than just money. It's a statement, a declaration of my worth. It all started with my sister, Lily. She's always been the center of attention, the golden child of the family. I, on the other hand, have always been the one in the background, the hands that create the beauty that others get to enjoy. I'm a bridal designer, and I've poured my heart and soul into my work for as long as I can remember. Lily met her husband, Ethan, at a charity event. His family, the Andersons, are wealthy and influential. When they got engaged, Lily came to me and asked me to make her wedding dress. I was overjoyed. This was my chance to show my family, and the world, what I was capable of. I spent 92 days working on that dress. It was a labor of love, a masterpiece. I used the finest French Alisa lace, hand-beaded with seed pearls, and a silk charmeuse skirt cut on the bias. It was a cathedral train that seemed to have a life of its own. I knew it was worth every penny of the $18,400 I would have charged any other client. But my mother, Margaret, had other ideas. She told me that as family, I should do it for free. This is what family does, she said. And like a fool, I believed her. I thought that if I made the dress beautiful enough, she would finally see me, really see me. 3 months before the wedding, Lily posted a screenshot of a receipt in the family group chat. It was from a non-existent designer, Ava Sterling, and it showed a price of $40,000. My mother replied with hearts and said it was worth every penny. I was shocked. I realized that Lily had been lying to the Andersons about who made the dress and how much it cost. The day of the wedding, I drove 40 minutes to the venue, carrying a garment bag with a backup bustle pin, a spool of ivory thread, and a miniature sewing kit. I was ready to fix any last-minute problems. But when I got to the door, the staff member told me my name wasn't on the list. I watched as he ran his pen over the list, and there was a line through my name. Someone had crossed me off. My mother was there, standing in a pale blue suit. She looked at me like I was an embarrassment. We discussed this, Bessie, she said. The venue is at capacity. I told her there were 40 empty chairs, but she just exhaled through her nose, a sign that I'd embarrassed her by being right. We can't let a poor designer shame the family, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I looked through the open French doors and saw Lily in the dress I'd made. She was spinning, the skirt catching the light. It was a beautiful sight, but it felt like a knife in my heart. I'd driven all this way to protect a dress for a woman who had lied about me and my work. I smiled and said, "Enjoy your day," then turned around and walked back to my car. The drive back to Savannah was a blur. The October humidity clung to my arms, and the sound of the garment bag's zipper jingling made my throat close. I didn't cry, though. I pressed my tongue to the roof of my mouth, a trick I'd learned years ago. When I got back to my studio, it was dark. The fluorescent light over the cutting table had been flickering for weeks, and I'd kept forgetting to replace it. I sat down at the table and opened my phone. The family group chat was full of photos of Lily and Ethan at the wedding, but no one mentioned the designer. I felt like I'd been erased. Lorraine, the owner of the fabric shop downstairs, came in one night. She saw the bare mannequin and me sitting there. "When are you going to send the invoice?" she asked. I told her it was free, a family rate. But she looked at me over her glasses and said, "Nothing is free, baby. You just haven't counted the cost yet." She then told me the difference between a seamstress and a designer. A seamstress takes orders. A designer names her price, she said. And that's when I decided to do the math. I calculated the cost of materials, labor, and design consultation. It came to $18,400, the fair market price for my work. I opened my invoicing software and started typing. Just then, my phone rang. It was Lily. She was on her honeymoon, and she said there was a snag on the train of the dress. "Can you fix it when we get back?" she asked. I told her my customer service hours were over and that I'd send her my repair rates. She was silent for a moment, then said, "It's just a pulled thread. It should be affordable." And then she hung up. I finished the invoice and sent it to Lily. Within minutes, my phone rang. It was my mother. "What do you think you're doing?" she said, her voice cold. I told her I was billing for services rendered. She scoffed and said, "You made a dress for your sister's wedding. A gift." I reminded her that it had cost me 92 days and $18,000 in labor and materials. She then threatened to cut me off from the family if I didn't withdraw the invoice. Lily called me later, crying. She said I was ruining her marriage, that if Ethan saw the invoice, he'd ask about the fake designer. I told her there was no Ava Sterling, that she'd made her up. I asked her where the $40,000 had gone, but she wouldn't answer. My mother called again, this time crying. She said she'd sacrificed so much for us, that she'd driven me to my sewing classes and let me use the basement for my projects. I told her that family also invites each other to weddings and doesn't call their daughter a poor designer. She stopped crying and said, "If you pursue this, I will make sure everyone knows what kind of daughter you are." That night, I got a text from a friend. She sent me a screenshot of my mother's Facebook post. It was a long, sad post about how I was demanding money from a newlywed couple on their honeymoon. The comments were full of people calling me jealous and greedy. I felt like the villain in my own family's story. But then, something unexpected happened. Ethan's mother, Mrs. Anderson, called me. She said she'd had the dress examined by her tailor and found a monogram in silver thread, BR, inside the corset. She said it was a designer's signature, and that the person who made the dress was extremely talented. She told me that the receipt they'd paid for said Ava Sterling made the dress, but that Ava Sterling didn't seem to exist. She asked me how much the dress was actually worth, and I told her $18,400. She said she would pay me directly, that the $40,000 was between Lily and Ethan, but that the person who made the dress should be paid. The next morning, I received a wire transfer of $18,400 from Mrs. Anderson. It was the first time someone had paid me what my work was worth. I looked at the wall where Lorraine's words were written, "A seamstress takes orders. A designer names her price." I finally understood what she meant. Lily called me that evening. She was different, quieter. She said she hadn't planned to steal the money, that it had started small. She'd panicked when Ethan's mother asked where the dress was from and had made up a name. She said she just wanted to fit in with the Andersons. I told her she could have just told the truth, that I'd made the dress. She said it wouldn't have been enough for our mother. And I knew she was right. Our mother had always built us into different roles, Lily as the face, me as the hands. I'm not sure if I'll ever forgive Lily or my mother. But I know one thing for sure. I'll never sew for free again. I've learned that I need to name my price, to stand up for my worth. And as I sit here, looking at the charmeuse on the table and the scissors in my hand, I know that a new chapter is beginning. The phone buzzes on the table. There are 98 missed calls from Lily and my mother, but I don't care. Today, I have a client who has asked for my pricing sheet, and I'm ready to start a new project on my own terms.